Good morning, everyone. I'm Jen Houston, owner of the Artsy Fartsy Gallery. I'm a full-time independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, that's a mouthful, here in Canada. And I'm so happy that you can join me for the creative escape. It's a little escape, set aside some time for some me time. And this episode is kind of about getting started on projects that maybe, you got all the supplies, you've got all the stuff, but you kind of get stuck on, what to make, what to create. So today I'm going to show you a fun project. It's a pinwheel card. And what inspired me was I got this card, Christmas card, from Michelle. I'm not going to say her last name because I'm sure I would butcher it. But it's beautiful. I love it. And so I looked it up and learned how to make it myself. And so now I want to show you how to make this beautiful card as well. So the items that you're going to need today are listed here. So you'll need some designer series paper, or another kind of way to say that is pattern paper. And you need 4 pieces that are cut at 1 1/4 inch by 1 1/4 inch. And then, I don't know, Stampin' Up! Paper has a back pattern to their pattern paper, so they have patterns on both sides. So you can either choose to use that back pattern or find some coordinating pattern paper that kind of matches with the first set. And you'll need 4 more pieces cut at 1 1/4 by 1 1/4. Next, you'll need some coordinating cardstock. So a color that matches with both of those pattern pieces. And you'll need 2 pieces cut at 2 5/8 by 2 5/8, so a square. And the next thing, you'll need the cardstock base, the card base, for which your card's going to be kind of attached to. And so that's measured at 8.5 by 5.5, and it is folded in half. Next, you'll need some coordinating cardstock, so we're going to put a layer over top of the card base. So 1 piece cut at 4 by 5.5. That should be 4 by 5 1/4. Sorry about that. And another piece of coordinating cardstock that's going to layer over top of that, and you need 1 piece cut at 4 3/4 by 3 3/8. Or you can use the second largest rectangle stitched Framelit and cut out the piece with that. They work great, and they have the little stitching around the edge, which is kind of fun. Next, you'll need a scrap piece of paper that's white or a light color so that you can stamp your greeting on it. You'll need a button or some kind of embellishment, maybe a piece of ribbon or a little wood piece that would go over top of the center. You'll need a greeting of your choice, so a stamp that's preferably a little bit small in size. And lastly, you'll need kind of ink that kind of matches and some adhesive to glue all this together. Okay, so that is our supply list. I'm just going to get this set up here to, whoop, there we are. All right, so here we go. So I'm just going to show you once again, this was the card that inspired me to use this technique, and it's so easy, but it looks complicated, which is kind of fun, right? All right, so this is the card that I decided to try and make based on that Christmas card that I received. And so as you can see, I use the, oh dear, what is it called? All My Love, I believe, pattern paper, and made my little pinwheel. And here's where I was talking about the stitched rectangle framelits. Doesn't that add just a little extra something on there, just with the little stitching? And then here's my little sentiment that I cut out, time to celebrate. And what a versatile saying, time to celebrate, right? You can give that for anniversary, wedding, birthday, whatever. And here's my coordinating envelope, of course. So I just used some of that pattern piece of paper on my envelope just to splash it up a little bit. Hello, Lisa. How are you doing? I feel like it's super early today for some reason. my tongue's not working yet, and I don't know. Anyways, so here is the first card we're going to make using this pattern. I've got my card base here measured at 8.5 by 5.5, and I'm folding that in half. The next thing I'm going to do is attach the layer over top, so that's measured at 4 by 5.25, and I'm just going to use my snail tape and glue that on. This color is Highland Heather. I'm not a purple person, but this purple is quite pretty. So, and it kind of matches with the patterns that I'm going to be using, which is a bonus. Next, over top, I'm going to attach the layer with the large stitched rectangle framelit, the second largest. Pardon me. See, I'm not awake yet or something. Attach that. Pretty. All right. So now comes the pinwheel section, because this was so easy, right? So you have two pieces that are measured at 2 5/8 by 2 5/8, and this color is Petal Pink. Now to get this, you need to, this grid paper is amazing because you can line things up to make them square. So I'm going to try and line up this line and try and line up the points with this line. Doesn't have to be exact, but you know, you want to try and get it as near to perfect as possible, just to make it look the best it could. I'm just going to put some snail in the center there and layer over top this piece, and the piece over top, but I'm putting it square this time. So once again, I'm just going to look and see whereabouts middle would be. So I'm looking 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 4 3 3-ish. Oh, that's not centered that way though. Move it up a little. This is by far the hardest part. Just trying to make a square over top of a square. Close enough, right? All right, good. Now comes the fun part. So we're going to glue these down in kind of a clockwise direction. To start, it's best if you use a little bit of adhesive, because if you use too much, it's hard to kind of reposition and tuck things underneath towards the end. So I'm just going to start, doesn't matter which point you start at, but I'm just going to start here. And as you can see, I'm leaving a little bit of a border of the Petal Pink, because you want that to kind of show behind it. Just adds another element, right? So the one piece is pattern flowers, and the other side of that paper is this Highland Heather with some stitching on it. So I thought it looked pretty. So this time I'm going to once again just put one strip of adhesive. We can always go back and glue later on. And I'm just going to go over top of what I've already done, leaving a border, putting it like that. All right, next, remember, one little strip. And just keep turning it, adding the next layer right over top. Ooh. Let's try that again. Give it a press in the middle. There. Now this paper, this pattern paper, has stitching going this way. So you can either turn, you might want to be aware of this. So you might want to turn it, or you may want it to be going the same direction. Up to you. I'm going to put it in the same direction just to make it a little more cohesive. Put that there. Okay, time for some flowers. And some purple. I'm going to keep those lines all the same direction. There, some flowers. Now this one last one, it's a little bit tricky, and this is exactly why we don't want to use too much adhesive. So you're going to actually lift kind of this one up so that you can tuck it underneath. Let's see. Oh, I want the lines this way. Okay. Needs a little more space than what I gave it. So let's go back here. Dear, I lost it here. Okay, this one has to go over top. I'm going to go back to this just a minute. Go back here, put this one down. I think it's a little tricky, this one, because I left quite a big border as opposed to just doing a thin one, that's all. So this guy needs to be tucked under here. Why is he not going to sit flat? Well, let's make him sit. Let's go, let's cut a little off here. Let's cut a little off of this one too. Lay it down there. Okay, so now is the time that you can go back and kind of glue everything down. So I just, you know, run a little strip on there. This needs a little piece of adhesive, then the flap. Well, that flap's pretty good. A little under there. Almost all the way around. That's why this snail tape is great. It goes quick. Go under here. This one. And I believe this is the last one. That one's good. All right. Perfect. So now we're going to lay this onto our card and glue it down. Okay, and the reason why you want a little embellishment, it's 4 a.m. Woman, go to bed. Wendy, oh my goodness, you must be an early riser or you cannot sleep. I might put you back to sleep here. So this is why you kind of want the embellishment in the center, is because all these little pieces are kind of joined and they don't always fit perfectly. So what I'm going to use is one of the free little wood pieces. You can get that for free with Sale-a-Bration. I thought it would look kind of cute there on the card. So I'm just going to use some snail. You can use glue dots, you can use the liquid glue. I'm just lazy, so I'm just going to use this snail tape. There we have it. She's an early bird, isn't she? Holy. And then I'm going to add, oh, I was going to add, just a minute. I was going to add some of this copper thread behind. See if I can remember how to do this. Good old Sandy taught me how to do this last week. So you just put some adhesive on the back of whatever you want to, of the element, whatever either your paper or your, and then you can just start wrapping, creating circles and gluing it to the back. I think I'm just going to go with that. 4 little 4 little loop-de-loops there. Just add a little something, a little sparkle, hidden sparkle. Can you see? Maybe you can there a little bit. A little bit. Thank you, thank you. All right, so next I'm going to add my little saying. So I was going to use a little happy birthday. I'm going to use my Petal Pink ink. It says happy day, so actually this could be used for many things as well. So I'm just going to stamp it in the middle, and I'm going to use my, oh yeah, where did I put it? Oh, here it is, tucked behind here. Comes the avalanche. I'm going to use this punch to punch out the saying. Just because I just want it fairly small. I don't want it to be a huge saying on the card, because I want the focus to be on the beautiful pinwheel. And I'm just going to put some snail on the back of that. Glue that down. Happy day. And there's my card. Cute. And for the front, I'm going to for the envelope, pardon me. See, I feel like I'm not awake yet. I don't know how Wendy does it. It's 10 o'clock at my, in my place in the world. Just gonna lay this onto the flap, glue it down, and cut around it to make a quick and easy matching envelope. There. Sweet. All right, so there's one with that pattern. And now we're going to do another one using the same idea. Here's the next little, can you guess what kind of card this is going to be? Just based on the colors. Okay, so here's my envelope. I'm going to place that aside. Now I'm using Pacific Point. It's a beautiful rich blue. And because it's a little darker, I'm going to put the piece of Whisper White, here we go, we're getting crooked again, Whisper White in the inside so that you can see your writing. Now on the outside, I'm going to put my first layer, which is 4 by 5 1/4. There we go. And this one is Lemon Lime Twist, nice bright color. And you can either cut it out, or you can use the large stitched rectangle framelit, which makes it so much easier. And it adds that pizzazz of the stitching. And I'm just going to layer that on top. And then I'll set this part aside. All right, so now I'm going to start with these rectangles. So the grid paper is great because I'm going to try and line up these points this way and line up the points this way. Perfect. Now I'm going to put a little snail and kind of do an approximate here. Kind of lined up there, lined up there, lined up there with the lines. Good, done. Now for this pattern paper, I'm using the Gingham Gala, and what I've decided to do is do one pattern the large checks and the other pattern the small checks. And that, does that look right? Yes, it does. So okay, so that's going to be my pattern on this one. So it's not going to be totally, whoops, out there. I'm going to leave that one for a second. So using less glue to start because you don't want to get caught in the end. Now this time I'm not going to leave such a big border around the outside, and see if that helps me out. So small check, big check, small check. I'm just kind of leaving that little bit of a border. Big check. I know, isn't it a pretty color combo? I like it. Yes. Small check. As you all know, I'm not a bright colored person. That's not my thing. So this is tough. But I'm trying to branch out because not everybody is like me. All right, so here's the part we're going to end up tucking in underneath this first one. Yeah, see, this works better because I didn't leave such a big border around there. Yeah, it's still too big. I'm just going to trim a little bit off. Make it easier to tuck. Of course, the one I did was like flawless. It didn't have any issues with this. There. All right. So now I'm just going to go back and glue all the flaps. So there, there. That one's good. And then I'm going to go back and glue all the points just to make sure they're laying down. That's good. There. Okay. As you can see, I left a smaller border. So the pattern's quite, simple, but it's kind of neat. All right, so I'm going to glue this down. And I think I was going for this one, I'm going to actually put it facing this way just to change it up. Can't wait to try this. Please wait for a little while. Don't start this card at 4:30 or anything. Have a rest first. And then instead of putting an embellishment here, I was just going to add a little bit of it's one of the smaller rectangles, stitched framelits, and I'm going to put the saying on there. Now, what was I going to put here? Welcome, baby. That's what I was going to do. So this is from the Well Wishes stamp set, and I'm going to use Pacific Point and stamp onto this rectangle. Boop. Cute. And I think I'm going to pop that up. I'm using some dimensionals here. So dimensionals are little foam dots to help pop up some pieces on your artwork. Kind of adds a little bit of extra dimension. Okay, I'm just going to lay that kind of in the center. And then I have a little stainless, I forget what these are called, a button from the Christmas catalog that I had left over. And I have some twine. So I was just going to add that on the end here, just for something a little extra. Let's maybe make that bow just a tad smaller. Okay, get out my glue dots that are all attached to my scissors. Apparently it was a scissor holder. Okay, just putting those little wee glue dots on the back there to hold that button down. I usually put quite a few because you want it to stick well. Let's just put that right there. I think I'm going to trim that ribbon a little bit. Make that bow a tiny bit smaller. There. Cute. So there's that kind of version. And I was going to stamp, welcome baby, so happy you're here. That's kind of, I thought, let's put that on the inside. I need to start decorating my insides more than what I do. I've just started doing the envelopes, but now I got to get going on the inside too. Beautiful. All right. So now for the envelope, what I was just going to do is there's a little scrap piece. I'm just going to make a ribbon cut on the end and glue it down. Large or small? Let's go large. And just put it in the bottom corner. And there we have our card. Fun little variety on that one. Now our last card with this kind of pattern. I'm using the Happiness Blooms set. Okay, so ribbon involved. Lovely, lovely. Put the envelope aside so I can use it for later. And here's my Whisper White card base. I'm going to attach some Night of Navy for the first layer. Kind of placing that in the middle if you can. And my second layer I decided also to do Night of Navy. However, what was my plan here? Oh, sheesh. I got this already last week. Now I can't think here. I'm going to use those for that, but why did I cut this out? Maybe it was for the envelope or something. I don't know. Oh well. All right. I know I was going to put this down here. Okay. So I did some Calypso Coral ribbon. And so I'm just going to attach that onto this layer so that I can tuck this behind and glue it down. That way you aren't going to see the kind of the ends there. So the way I do this is I just put a strip of snail on either side and I kind of just lay the piece around, tuck it behind, make sure it's glued there. Now I'm going to cut this excess off because we really don't need it, just bulking up the back of our card. Okay, now I'm going to glue that down. I like to put some snail on the backs of those ribbons so they don't come undone. And glue that down. Perfect. Okay, put that aside and we're going to start on our little square here. So one's a diamond, one it becomes a square. Just kind of trying to line them up, be sort of centered, even. There we go. So Happiness Blooms. I'm just using the back sides for my coordinating colors. Whoops, did it again. I'm going to leave that one aside for a minute. Okay, a little strip of glue and a little border. opposite pattern. I'm sure you could just use one pattern. Nobody's, the pattern police are not going to come and harass you if you use the same pattern all the way around. I'm not sure. I haven't tried one like that. It might look absolutely beautiful. And polka dots. And the flowers. And the polka dots. And the flowers. Uh-oh. Did I not cut all the papers? Oh, sheesh. Well, it's a good thing I have my paper trimmer. See, I'm just not organized today. Guess we all have our days, hey? So 1 1/4. And I have no idea why I had this piece, but let's trim her down. 1 1/4. 1 and, oh my goodness, what am I doing? Anybody else having a Monday like me? You used the Memories and More kit in your last class. It is really happy, isn't it? Yes. I think it's back ordered if I don't remember. But yeah, I do want to get that because I think it would be fun to do so many quick cards with it. Okay, so you're peeling up this layer here a little bit. That's why you don't want to use too much glue. Oh, see, this one fit nicely. Under there. All right, so now I'm just going to go back and add a little extra snail to make sure all those pieces are laying down flat and not going to be waving in the wind. That's good. Okay, and then I'm going to go back and check out the points. Make sure they're all glued down well. We're good. All right, so now I'm going to lay this pattern here. Put some snail. Make sure you put some snail on these other little points too. Just to make sure they aren't flapping around. And let's place this down here. There we go. Now, the plan was to use the It's Your Day in Night of Navy. And this It's Your Day actually came from the Best Catch, which is a fishing set. Nobody's gonna know, but I like that saying and I thought it would look cute for the center. Good. And it's your day. I mean, that is a very versatile saying. So now I'm going to put some snail on the back here, and I want to get out this copper thread again and kind of weave it back and forth. Just to add a little pizzazz, a little something extra. So fine. Oh, maybe one more right here. You get going, you don't want to stop. Next thing you know, you have a big sunshine. There. Oh, come on. There. You can always fix it once it's down too. Trim off the extra. Whoops. All right. Okay, I'm going to put some dimensionals behind to pop up that little saying. I want to hug this card. Aw, how sweet are you? It's a good way to use up that designer series paper, right? Instead of just hoarding it. Oh yeah, like that, just that hidden little copper bits. And then I wanted to put these little butterflies on here somehow. Okay, I'm going to put a little dimensional mini one behind this one side. And hope it's not going to show through. And I'm going to put snail. The reason I didn't put dimensionals on both sides was because I'm going to actually have it hanging off of this layer, which has a dimensional. So I just want the dimensional on this side and snail to sit on that side. Hopefully that makes sense. And some snail on this little piece. No, let's go this way. There, so this one's really pizzazzed compared to the other ones. Love that little copper thread hidden behind there. But what an easy way to make a fun card. There again, I'm going to just use a little piece of paper. I was going to cut a ribbon cut here. What am I doing? There we go. And glue that onto my envelope. I'll have to think about what I'm going to put on the inside of the card. All right, Sandy, nice treat for a lunch break. I get, aw, sorry I missed you there. Sandy, did you see I did the linen thread? Oh, goodness, getting stuck. The linen thread twice, thanks to you helping me learn how to do that. So there's linen thread on this one and there's linen thread on this one. So here are the cards that I made using this cool pinwheel technique. Here's the one I did before, and where's my baby? There's my baby card, and it was all inspired by this amazing Christmas card that I got in the mail. So I would love for you to try out this technique. If you do, please post a picture underneath in the comments, and I'm going to do a draw for somebody out of the people who give this technique a try. Have a little prize for whoever wins. And because like I kind of hoped with this that I was so oh, thank you, Sandy. I was hoping that we could learn from each other, right? So what, just like I learned from my Christmas card, you know, this technique, when we share each other's cards, pictures of each other's cards, that helps us learn different ideas and think of different, you know, different ways to kind of use the same technique. Just like I did this, you know, the baby card sideways, but then, you know, we did this way, or this one I used 2 colors on as the mats, and on these ones I just used 1. So we all learn from each other's ideas, and so that's why I would love it if you would give this a try and share with us. So be brave, you can do it. All right, thank you ladies so much for joining me this morning as I fumbled my way through. Thank you for continuing on. Hello, Sue Thomas, sorry I missed you there. And we will hopefully see you on Wednesday at Coffee and Cards, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And that is when I will do the draw for the lucky person who gives this technique a try. All right, have a good day.